What we're going to look at today is how we feel in our body in terms of presence. Are we able to stay connected? And of course, we have a history of that runs through our whole life. So we're going to look at that a little bit and fear, comfort. So let's start, as we sometimes do, by looking around the room, even before you close your eyes, if you do. And is it safe to be in the room that you're in right now? And we make that assessment in part based on our past experiences in the room. If this is a space where, generally speaking, at this time of the day, there's nobody's going to come in, there's no threat, then that can help us to tune into safety right now. And when we feel safe, we breathe more deeply. When we're scared, we hold our breath or we breathe very shallow so that we can't be heard or noticed. But when we feel safe, we have a deeper breath. So, two few deep inhales and long, slow exhales. And let your body feel that. The body is always noticing what's going on. It's always trying to keep us safe. It's always communicating amongst different body parts with our brain, our breath. All of these autonomic processes are very active. We don't really have a body and a mind or a brain. We have one system, a body, mind, body. One of the ways that we let our primitive brain know that we're safe is that we notice and we take some breaths. We do something a little bit different than the habit that might be in the body. We have a habit of tight shoulders, if we're bracing ourselves, or we clench our teeth. Our stomach is always in a knot. And those habits are there because in the past we've needed to protect ourselves, or we've been scared or worried about something. And now, in this moment in time, we look again with fresh eyes and go, oh, actually, the space that I'm in is safe. I'm not in any physical danger. There's actually no one here that's going to yell at me or hurt me. Anything that's happening from the past is a memory. It's coming in as a thought memory and a body memory. So take a few breaths, relax your forehead and eyebrows. Let go of worry in your mind. If you like to have your eyes closed, it's more restful for the brain to have your eyes closed, but some people like to have your eyes open just with a soft gaze. Either one of those is fine. But relax the muscles of your eyes, the corners of your eyes. Let your vision have a bit of a rest. And move down into your mouth, your jaw, your tongue. Relax the hinges of your jaw. And a lot of times we clench our teeth or we have a lot of tightness through the jaw. You could move your lower jaw around a bit. Let your vocal cords kind of soften and become quiet. Sometimes people will notice that when they're thinking anxious thoughts that they're subvocalizing. It's a little bit of activity in the vocal cords at the back of the tongue. Let your tongue rest on the bottom of your mouth. There's nothing that we need to say or think about saying or stop ourselves from saying. Right now, we could rest. And notice your neck and shoulders through the front, at the throat, the sides, over the shoulders, down into the arms and hands. We don't need to use our arms and hands for anything right now, so we could let them come to rest. And really relax through the back of the neck, the top of the shoulders, your upper back, between your shoulder blades. Move that around for a moment too, if you wanted, and then just let it come to rest so that your shoulders are not up around your ears. You can let your shoulders release, let your upper back soften. When we have fear, we often make a shield through the upper back. And when we do that a lot, then we tend to have that cement shoulders, that really tight neck and shoulders. I had that for most of my life. So notice if you actually need to shield yourself from something right now, or if that's a habit. And then let yourself soften through the back of your neck and your upper back for several breaths. You could take a deeper inhale if you want, and then as you exhale, notice how it automatically lets go a little bit. Maintain your awareness as you breathe in, and then as you breathe out again, let it soften more. So that every time you breathe out, you're relaxing more deeply. Let your whole back body soften. There's no need for a defense right now. And then come around the sides of the rib cage to the front of your chest. Notice your chest, your lower rib cage area, your stomach area, the lower belly, that whole front of your torso. And notice what's happening here. It's another place where we hold a lot of tension when we're afraid. Since we know there's nothing to fear right now in this moment, really let that soften. As you breathe out, there's that natural softening of your belly as it moves back towards the spine. The air flows out of the lungs, and a continuous smooth breath is the most relaxing. When we're breathing diaphragmatically, the motion in our body is that our stomach softens and settles back to the spine as we breathe out. So if you're not breathing in that pattern, about a third of the people reverse breathe. And that's another habit caused by fear. So if you're not noticing that on the exhale, your belly's softening, don't worry about it. Just notice that you could allow your belly to soften and let the body breathe. Our bodies know how to breathe. We're all born breathing diaphragmatically. And many of us have habits of fear because that's been our experience. And then as we do these practices, things start to settle and soften in our body. When there's no tightness in our body, then there's no jerkiness in the breath. We breathe smoothly, continuously. Notice that. And then broaden your view so that you're aware of your whole body, including your legs, your feet, the soles of your feet, your toes. And there's nowhere to go right now. We don't need to move about in the world at the moment. So your legs could be resting as well. And since we're working with time this week in our practice, Notice what your body feels like right now compared to 10 minutes ago when we first started. And as you're scanning your body, you might notice, a little bit of tightness has come back into my mouth, or back of my neck could soften a bit more. So you could adjust that as you tune into your body again. But notice the difference. Occasionally we'll get tighter in our body because there's something that's really up for us. More often, when we do a relaxation practice, we get looser and more relaxed, soften. Our breath gets deeper. Our mind starts to calm down as well. Notice your own experience. And we're going to go into the past in a moment, but what we're doing is we're bringing forward a memory from the past. So we're not losing touch with right now. Right now, we know that our body's safe, our breath is smooth, our belly's softening as we breathe out. Notice if there's any energy or sensation in your body that's here. When we're talking about fear, there's often some kind of engagement in the belly. There could be parts of the body that tighten up as well. So, as we do this other practice of going into the past, try to really remain aware of the moment that you're in right now. And right now, you're safe. And your body could be relaxed, your breath is smooth. And we might have to keep coming back to that because we have that habitual tightening up. And that's okay. One of the really important things that we could know about the nervous system is that this is how our primitive brain tries to keep us safe. We have an experience where we're scared, cortisol and adrenaline are released into our system. We do some form of, we run away in flight, we fight back, or we freeze. And we've had these habits going on since we were very young. And there's nothing wrong with us that our body's operating that way. That's how our body's meant to operate. When we're scared, we try to protect ourselves. And the primitive brain is not very nuanced. That's partly why we benefit from the cognitive mind, the higher development of the human mind. So take a few breaths, notice the whole back of your body, notice the soles of your feet, notice where you're connected to the floor or the chair. And then bring up a memory of what it was like for you when you were a child, when you felt afraid. You don't have to go to the most alarming one, although if you do, that's fine. You could bring that forward. But what was it like for you generally? Do you remember being scared a lot as a child? And if so, was it at home? Was it at school? On the playground? We all have memories of being afraid when we were children. So what's your general perception of your childhood in terms of fear? If you were talking about someone else, would you mostly I see them, they seem to be pretty relaxed and happy. And then sometimes things would happen and they would be scared. But then, maybe their parents or another adult would help them to co regulate their emotions, help to down regulate and soothe. My mother used to say, count to 10 when we'd get upset or angry. And that's one signal that we could actually have an impact on what's going on with us, that we could settle our body. We could take a few deep breaths. And if you have images or memories that are coming up that are quite intense, you can always use the tools. Tap on your forehead, take your attention away from the memory and into the sound of the tapping, the sensation of the tapping. reminding yourself that you're here right on the other side of the room. Notice there's a lot of space around the image, between you and the image. This is actually an image or a memory that you're looking at. You're right now safe in your own body. Take a few deep breaths. So, tapping and tracing and looking at the space are very effective to help us remember that right now we're not back in that situation. We're actually safe. And then the next step is to allow our adult self to interact with our younger self. What would you like to have been able to had for support at that time? Maybe you could put your arms around your younger self and help the breath to settle or reassure them somehow. Hey, you're not alone in this. I'm here too. And it's going to be okay. I'll help you figure out what to say or how to protect yourself, or I'll go to bat for you. Or, I'm really sorry that happened. Of course you were scared. And now we're safe. It's not happening now. Keep noticing your body in this moment. Notice your breath. You really feel into that. What would it be like to be comforted? What would that have meant to your younger self to have known that you weren't alone? That eventually things were going to change and you'd be safe. This wasn't going to last forever, and that it's not your fault. Whatever happened in your childhood was on the adults, it was not on you. It was not your fault. And as an adult, we can heal from that, just like we're doing right now. To feel that younger child in your arms, or maybe it's a teenager. Look them in the eyes. Let them know they're safe now. Deep breaths. Let your body soften. And then bring your mind forward a few years or maybe to 2029, 10 years from now. You're continuing to do this healing work. Your body continues to experience safety. And look into the eyes of your older, calmer self who knows safety. And let you in this moment and your younger self together experience the reassurance, the connection. Your fear is completely healed. You know absolutely that you're safe from the past. Let your breath flow. Let your body relax. The past is over. You're safe now. Let all of the tension release out of your body. You're safe now. And knowing what you do about your past experience and your present experience with fear, Notice if it seems very likely and very possible that in the future you could feel even safer than you do now. And what would that be like? We'll still have a primitive brain and survival system. We'll still feel the zing if somebody insults us or if there's danger, but we're not triggered from the past anymore. We just have an appropriate response. We're present. We're able to do the right thing at the time. And we're not hijacked from our past experiences of feeling unsafe. We're in the present. And that opens up more and more for us as we do these practices, as we heal our nervous system. Deep breaths, relax your body, tune into your felt sense of safety in this moment, and let your younger self feel that too. The past is over, the danger is gone. We're safe now. And as we move into the future, we will experience that more and more and know that in our bodies that we're safe. And we can let go of all of those old strategies of holding our breath, of not being able to settle. We can just relax our body and breathe and be present with ourselves. And that will continue to grow and deepen with time. And that when we do feel fear, we'll be able to work with it. Whether it's a past fear, we can settle that. If it's something that's going on right now, we can be present with ourselves. That it's much more workable now than it was in the past. And come back to this over and over. Do the practice again if you like, but just come back to that felt sense of in this moment right now, I'm safe. Do that a lot. Check in with that several times each day until it becomes more of a habit of noticing the truth in this moment and that the past is no longer here. We've healed from our past.